so again, thanks CK and IoTSG for giving me the opportunity to talk about some of our projects that we are doing at SITA on the supply chain. And I would like as well to thank the Singapore Computer Society, Sachin, Phoebe, because they were absolutely great and leading really knowledge in Singapore on the IoT chapters. Before, quick word about myself. So my name is Arnaud Broly, I'm French, 7 years working in Singapore. And I'm leading some digital solutions within SITA. And I will tell you in a second who is SITA, because you might not be aware about our company. But to conclude on my side, so I have a background in telco, retail, supply chain, and more recently at SITA in the air transport industry. My goal, my job here is to bring innovation into markets. So playing with technology, playing with startup labs, but from that, creating solutions to fix business issue in a market and to solve real business problems. So moving on, SITA. So with SITA, even if you might not know us, but if you one day in your life you took a plane, you certainly use some of our service. So we are a technology provider, and we are here for around 70 years. And what makes us a bit special is that we are 100% owned by the air transport community. So our shareholder are airline, with a council of airline, airport, ground handlers. And yeah, so we are serving our air transport community needs of innovation and technology and solutions. And just few numbers, so we are pretty global. So we are present in 200 countries and territories, locally, physically present at more than 1,000 of airports. And we have around 3,000 of customers who are, as I said, community of transport, the airline, the airport, and the government who are working with us. So today, I will talk about supply chain in the air transport. And I have just few data to start with. You might be aware about that, but in all the different mode of transport, so roughly, the air transport, the aviation sector is very, very, very small in terms of volume. It represents just 1% of the global traffic, but the value is very high. So those 1% of volume represent 35% of the value of the good traded globally worldwide. Whereas the other mode of transport, the maritimes, is a bit the other way around, huge volume, 70%, and for around 43% of the value. And the other, the ground, so the terrestrial areas, the trucks, the rail, respectively 18 and 9% of the volume. So today, I will specifically and only talk about the air transport industry. But the last slide to give you a bit of flavor about what air cargo is. So you might remember this series, a wonderful series. So you have some Netflix addict potentially connected. And Jack Bauer did a lot of things in 24 hours. So this was the goal of the series. So stronger than Jack Bauer, better than Jack Bauer, what happened during 24 hours in air cargo? So we'll not go through all of those numbers, but it's huge. So in 24 hours, I would say in a normal situations, of course, with COVID today, as you could imagine, the situation we are seriously impacted. But I would say on a normal stats that we had a few years ago, so in 24 hours, you have 100,000 of planes taking off, 657 million of package, which was roughly $17.8 billion transferred. We have the 900 million of letters sent in 24 hours, and around the 1.1 million of smartphone shipped all over the world. So very busy industry, and of course, this industry, and unfortunately, is as well facing some serious challenge. Because the air cargo industry, it's an industry which hasn't moved much over the past 40 years. So in a business relationship between the main stakeholders, who are usually the shipper, the guys who want to send something to somewhere, the forwarders are managing the logistics, the ground handlers around, the airline transporting the goods, the customs, which we are facing at the origin and destinations with regulatory I would say processes, and the consignee with receiving the goods. The big problem that this air cargo industry is facing is mostly the lack of visibility. So the shipper always wondering, oh, where is my shipment? Is that okay? Why is there some delay? The airlines are looking for the container as well. Everybody screaming about, oh, but what about the document? Because without the document, no shipment can move anywhere. This is an industry which is highly fragmented, with a lot of actors, many custodians. So in a simple transfer from airport A to airport B, you can have up to 12 actors in the middle, and some of them using different communication standards, which means different silos, which cause a lot of problems. And even the handling is not easy. We have around per year around 30% of the container in aviation which are damaged or lost every year, which is quite significant. And last but not least, and I don't want to paint the situation as black, but yes, this is an industry which is significantly using paper operations. And despite IATA, the International Air Transport Associations, we have some very strong initiative in digitizing key transport document as the airway bills. Still, there is a lot of manual entry, paper in use. Just to conclude to illustrate with this simple drawing about how fragmented is the air cargo. So you might see in your screen transporting from the shipper to the consignee. So you have the freight flow, so the physical good in blue, going from your warehouse to your airport, loading in the belly of the aircraft, second airport, and then truck to destinations. It looks easy, but the data flow is crazy. So we have around 22 documents sent around 41 times, which is very complex. And one of the reasons for the IT people connected is that the way the industry, the stakeholders in cargo are communicating is mostly using some messages protocol which came from the ITs. So we have a cascade of messages which include a lot of data discontinuity. It creates a partial network visibility among the stakeholders and consequently a long reconciliation to process the transaction. So this is an issue. And somehow, what the voice of the industry, what the goal and what the dream that in air transport the players are really looking at is a system, is a tool, is something which can really bring a digital consensus of the records among themselves. So what we mean by digital consensus, so it's a kind of digital agreement among the traditional trading partners to valid or invalid an event. Oh, where is my shipment? It is there. Is it left Changi? Yes, no, it arrived in Paris, whatever. So the current state of the asset, which is traded, and a better way to collaborate, to transact, to exchange in order to mitigate disruptions. And through that, of course, reaching an end-to-end process visibility, automating as much as possible the process, getting alert, getting better SLA visibility, and enhance the overall processes. So that's pretty much what really the industry is looking at. So what SITA and our partner, what are we doing in this picture? So we are a technology company, technology provider, as I said. And when we are looking about the issue the air cargo is facing, say, oh, hold on, we have a toolbox. And we have a toolbox, we have a lot of IT interesting solutions which may apply, which may solve those kind of problems. And we think that technology always is an enabler, need to serve a business purpose. And it's not a technology against another. So we are not saying, oh, mobile is better than IoT, better than blockchain, better than AI, and aligning all the buzzwords of the world. But we do think, and that the combination, the convergence of those technology could make sense and would solve this air cargo supply chain issue. So what if in the supply chain, we have a world where data and new data would be captured by IoT? So IoT is booming with billions of sensors in any industry becoming more and more the norms. And the benefit, what we believe in air cargo, is that those sensors can bring some data which are totally unknown today or not captured by any IT systems. So that could be a source to bring some visibility when we are blind before. The second technology in our toolbox, which we think makes sense, is the blockchain. I will not detail what is blockchain, but blockchain has some attributes which we believe is a way to aggregate some multiple data flow, messages, IoT, mobile, whatever, where the data comes from, and to orchestrate the process, the different event flow, and managing the distribution of the data in a secure way among the different stakeholders. And here we are talking about enterprise blockchain, by the way, no coins, no crypto at stake here. And last but not least, AI, so artificial intelligence, which will be especially useful by bringing the ability to recognize a meaningful pattern that we would have from these tons of data, from systems, from IoT, and whatever the source are. And the goal being to enhance decision-making process or to support a decision-making process. So we are looking at this toolbox and we say, okay, but what we can do with that? So we are scratching our head, thinking about some stories, and we say, but what if we can really make it real? So what if we can really combine those technology and in a trade line to really monitor shipment and containers from an airport A to an airport B. So we were maturing these ideas with my colleague, Aurore, Luca, who are listening to us, I guess, today. And after fine-tuning this story, we tried to onboard some partners. And that's the first time in air transport that we managed to bring on the table one shipper, one airlines, one freight forwarders, the two ground handlers, in order to monitor from Singapore to Paris, the different events which would occur during transportation, and to log that onto the blockchain, bringing the IoT to get those data which are unknown for the moment, bringing the location and the condition of the shipments, monitoring the chain of custody, who is in charge and when, at which moment, bringing alerting to all the community to better manage the disruption in case, and digitizing some key documents, mostly airway bill for those who are familiar with that. So we are quite happy to do so. And to give you some of the description and learning about this use case, first thing is, yes, the complexity is to bring those guys together on the table. And it's perhaps the biggest challenge that we are facing beside the technology, is to bring those stakeholders together, let them to buy the story, but through a business process analysis, trying to understand really how things works, because we have the theory and the reality, and of course it's totally different. And it was very interesting to see people even talking together and discovering how their partner, customer are working as well. But the key thing is that what's in it for me? So the first question, and you can go nowhere, if we cannot identify the benefit for each and individual stakeholders, airline, forwarders, and so on, but as well the collective benefit. And that was a really interesting exercise. And after doing all of that, it's about data sharing. And sharing, it's not really something that I would say is really natural in our ecosystem. So agreeing what kind of data, what kind of events each party are interested to collect, to bring, to give. So it's a give and take exercise. So after doing that, so that was IT start to come into the picture. When we talked about bringing sensor to capture data, we are in highly regulated worlds where security and safety is the utmost priority for passenger and cargo. So we need to have some sensors, but aero-compliant sensors, and which is a totally different story. We have a million of norms from civil aviation, IATA, European Space Agency, but battery, electromagnetic emission, and so on. So we are really lucky, and we are working with a company, a startup called B1, based in France, represented by Pierre Gentinet, which might listen to us today. And those guys are really an amazing technology, sensors, which tick all of those boxes, and which allow indoor and outdoor geolocalization of the containers through different technology, GPS or Bluetooth low energy for the purists, providing alerting of temperature, if you have a certain threshold, humidity, shock, vibration, and so on, to really control what's happening during transportation of your shipments. And the battery life is quite exceptional because those sensors are not powered by any energy source, totally standalone, and they reach 3 years plus battery life. And very important as well to minimize the service of and the battery change for such sensors. So one of the secret sauce, by the way, is that they're using a very new and innovative, I would say, transmission channel. And for those who are familiar in the IoT world, leveraging what we call an IoT network, a communication network called LP1, so Low Power Wide Area Network. So long story short, it enabled very low level of data, a ping from a sensor, to be transported in a very long distance and consuming very, very low energy of your sensors. So the 3-year battery life without any power source. And you have two main players in this area, so Sigfox and LoRa, who are really doing a great job. For us, it's very interesting Why? Because they are the one to build up the network. And right now, LPWAN technology for aviation players are today available in more than 65 countries, present at 200 airports, without any infrastructure to be built for us as a customer, as a user of this transmission. And so, yeah, and the second part, so we talked about the IoT and the data capture, is that now, what do we do about the blockchain play? So the blockchain, as I said, was really the aggregation platform. So from different sources, talk about IoT for geolocation, monitoring temperatures, but as well, all the stakeholders are using the existing way of working, the EDI, the message, the current protocol of communication that we integrate into the blockchain. And what we've done here is a deployment of the blockchain to the different members, having a node and configuring the use case. So the use case, as I said, being logging, timestamping of the event and sharing with everyone, having the different data about the sensors, the alertings, and making sure that everyone would know what's happening into the process, compared to a peer-to-peer or sequential data sharing that we have currently. So last, what we are exploring right now with a very innovative startups called Podcast, it's an AI-driven optimization, because a lot of those data can be aggregated onto the blockchain. And by the way, I should mention that we're working with another startup called Sky Republic for the blockchain. Is that all of those data are great, but we need to do more. How we can use them in a smart way. So by leveraging those historical data, feeding them with some updated data, economical data, we aim at creating some patterns which would help to predict easily some flight delay, to predict this flight delay, to anticipate disruption due to flight delay, and in supply chain is critical, and even more in maritime, by the way. The container allocation optimization. So if tomorrow morning you have to ship for 3-5 container and you have nothing available, what would be the best route to bring back your container to not lose 1 day of transportation? And the demand prediction, how to optimize your capacity planning through the pattern that the AI could help you to better accurate your forecast. So to conclude, so this is a use case that we are working here in Singapore, again, for this trade line between Singapore and France. But what next? So we believe that the story will not stop right now. So there is 3 main areas that we are looking at. First, in financial. So one of the steps would be to look at the trade finance and how we could automate some of the financial impact on the supply chain, the settlement, invoicing, payment, or penalties through some smart contracts, mostly from the blockchain. Another thing we're looking at is to implement what we call KYC, know your customers, just to make sure that in the supply chain, if you are dealing with some companies, you can make sure that they have some verifiable credentials, are not, I would say, suspicious, that you don't want to do business with, to make things simple. So there's the right certifications in an indisputable way. For transportation, we already anticipate and working with a company called ULD Care for interlining. So interlining about containers, so keep tracking about those containers, either when they move from one airline to another airline. And looking at multimodal, because as we saw earlier, air transport is really 1% of the volume. So what if we could build some bridge between the maritime industry, the rail, the terrestrial transportation, in order to keep this vision, to keep this tracking and monitoring across the board. And on the regulatory, we as well look at the custom, digitization of custom, enhancing the custom process, maybe possibly manage some pre-clearance in order to fasten the supply chain in air transport. So to conclude on my last slide, I just would like to say that, especially in this time of trouble that we're facing in supply chain, that there is a time to leverage innovations, new tech, startups, to optimize and to take the best of those technology to make the difference. It's always a multi-collaboration approach. We don't believe that we can, of course, improve as much as we could alone, but now the efficiency gain should be really seek through a collaboration, through alliance, through consortium, in order to share and to collectively make things, this whole process better. And to not forget the industry standards, especially for adoptions of those new technology, because we need to build up on what has been created. and the industry, and especially in aviation when it's an highly regulated environment, building up, upgrade the industry standard, making them evolve will be as well a key to success.